It's just cosmetic. You're just paying for a simple skin to unlock on your new character, dude. It's just cosmetic. Like, it's not pay to win. It's optional. You can get those loot boxes. You can unlock them in the game itself. It's just cosmetic. It isn't giving you any advantage in the game. You're not unlocking any new weapons or any new characters. You're just unlocking skins. Sam, for the last time, it's just cosmetic.
I never thought we would ever see the day. EA, what the fuck were you thinking? Why did you put these things in loot boxes? These are not cosmetic. These give people advantages when they're playing the game itself. When they're playing multiplayer, they get an advantage. When they're playing single player, they still get an advantage. They can just basically just buy a bunch of loot boxes and gain an advantage in the actual game. What the hell, EA? What is your thinking? We never let this slide. We never let this happen. We didn't invest in loot boxes back in the day. So what's going on, EA? Why do you want to take our money like you always do? We know that you take our money, and we know that you won't let Battlefront 2, the game that you were hyping up to have free content and free DLC for everyone, to end up having loot boxes that impact the game in many different types of ways. Why, EA? We never let this slide in the very first place.
What you just heard was an example of a gamer that is against loot boxes, and that is against manipulative types of tactics that the people in the gaming industry like to use to gain more money. What you just heard was a fanboy that paid a shit ton of money in Overwatch for loot boxes and now is complaining that they're being used in manipulative ways. The reason why you're hearing this is because many people that are against loot boxes were the ones that say it's just cosmetic back when Overwatch was just growing and stuff like that. This was the main factor, the one factor that gave these developers and gave these publishers the right to add loot boxes in most of their games to make it a progression system in some types of ways. It's really sad that us as the gaming community, that we just let it slide before it became something bigger. And now that it became something bigger, we decided to stop it and we decided to boycott EA and not buy Star Wars Battlefront 2. But do you really think we should just pat ourselves on the back and call it a day? Because we have bigger things to talk about. Net neutrality just got repealed by the FCC, but it's supposed to go through Congress. But everyone's acting like net neutrality's already gone. But here's the thing. It's not gone yet. We can still do something. We can still try and make a change, and we can still try and get this away from Congress and make sure we can keep the free and open internet. But you notice how I'm talking about net neutrality instead of loot boxes. We are acting like there's nothing else we can do. The mainstream people that talk about net neutrality talk about how it's over, how it's completely abolished, and how you don't have to go through another process or go through Congress to basically just save net neutrality itself. This is a type of situation that is similar to what loot boxes were a couple months ago. Oh, it's over, it's the end of the world, there's nothing we can do about loot boxes, and then we stand up, we do something about Battlefront 2's loot boxes, and then we pretend that it's game over. We pretend that we won this time. We pretend that we actually did something to impact the gaming community and the gaming industry in a positive light, even though the war is not even close to over yet. What example should I make? What example should I say as a game with a lot of loot boxes that we didn't even try to boycott yet? Let me think of one.
You know, I used to play this game before it was shit. I can't recall the name of it. Oh wait, Destiny 2.
In fact, let's backtrack a little and see what happened with Destiny 1 that caused all the problems in Destiny 2. You see, during Destiny 1, the Taken King era, there was this new shop in the tower called Eververse, and this was basically a way to put in microtransactions in the game and to basically just make more money on top of the money they were already making from the expansion pack, which was the Taken King. In these loot boxes, they had shaders, they had new items, they had new armor, or new types of armor that you could infuse. There was all these cosmetic items, and we just let it slide. People decided to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on these loot boxes depending on the event, whether it was the Halloween event or the Dawning or any other types of event that Destiny was having at the time, especially during its last phase or its last update before Destiny 2 came out a couple months later. I forgot what the event was called, but they were bringing back a bunch of new raids, and then they had new stuff to get in the new Eververse, and this just basically let the fire out for Destiny 2's Eververse, which I have never seen a game with as bad microtransactions as Destiny 2 and Star Wars Battlefront 2. But mainly Destiny 2, because I actually played Destiny 1 back when it was a good game, back when Year 2 was still going on, and back when microtransactions weren't the main focus of the game. Now, why am I talking about Destiny 1? What went wrong near the end of Destiny 1's life cycle that brought in the toxicity that would be Destiny 2's Eververse? The reason why I'm talking about Destiny 1 is because people already bought the loot boxes, just saying that it was just cosmetic, saying that it just made sense and that Bungie needed extra money to make more Destiny content. Little did we know that there would be a Destiny sequel instead of the whole 10-year promise for one game that Bungie promised during the early development of Destiny. And this basically just brought in Activision's new scummy types of tactics and plans into Destiny 2. One example I can make is bright engrams. These basically gave you an advantage in the game if you were early level 1 or level 2 player. You could just go out and buy these bright engrams and gain an instant advantage in certain weapons, armor, or other different types of stuff that Destiny 2 had to offer. Things got so bad that the only way to get bright engrams without having to pay up extra money or to pay up money to Bungie was to level up and gain these bright engrams. But little did we know, Bungie was just doing something right under our noses, and we didn't know about it until a month ago.
Bungie, the makers of Destiny 2, are in some hot water with the community right now, as it was determined to be found rigging the XP system in Destiny 2.
Bungie has spoken up about the XP gain and throttling issues that have been circulating on Reddit and other large websites recently. I briefly mentioned it in my Eververse video, but here's some information to bring you up to speed. Players were noticing that their experience gains weren't consistent when grinding activities.
Another game that's recently been called out for its underhanded tactics is Destiny 2, when it was discovered that the game's experience point system was rigged and had been brazenly lying to players.
Destiny 2 was throttling the XP in order to make people get frustrated over the fact that they had to level up to gain these bright engrams. And what that would mean is that the player might be enticed to spend money or microtransactions and get the new bright engrams that they were having. That wasn't even the worst of it. That wasn't even the worst part of Destiny 2. You see, a couple days ago, I think about a week or 2 weeks ago, Destiny launched its very first new expansion for Destiny 2 called, I think it's called the Dawn of Osiris. I forgot the name, but I seriously don't give a shit what the name is called because this is the worst example of an expansion that I can ever think of. This type of content belongs in a free update. Anyone remember the April update of Destiny 1? That was one of the best updates that Destiny had to offer during the first game. And you know what? It had more content than this expansion. This expansion cost $20, but I don't see anyone picking this expansion up and feeling that, oh, the $20 I just spent on this expansion, completely worth it. Because you know what happened? 95% of the content, or the new content that was in this expansion, was basically locked behind the Eververse. You had to go through hours and hours and hours of grinding trying to get bright engrams, only to get nothing out of it, or only to have to deal with all these new quests and all this grinding activity just to get reskinned weapons of weapons from the past or weapons from Destiny 2 vanilla. And then on top of that, the best content in the game, which was the exotic ships, the new ghost, the new sparrows, all this type of stuff, the new shaders on top of that, you had to go through a whole microtransaction loophole just to even get access to those new items. They spent 95% of their time not on the story, not on the new locations the game had to offer, but on microtransactions. And this is the sad future of Bungie and Destiny as we know it. This is why I quit Destiny 2, or this is why I never even got to pick up Destiny 2. Not because the game seemed boring, not because the game seemed like it was a grinding loop fest, and not because the game didn't even have half of the content that Destiny 1 Year 3 had to offer. No, but because 95% of the game's new items to collect in the game weren't even in the game itself. They were in Eververse loot boxes or bright engrams that were used to manipulate people into spending more money on these loot box engram type shits that would give you like not even that good content in the first place. This was just terrible, and this was a terrible idea for Bungie to do. And now that they're feeling the fire from the community, I'm glad that they're going through this. I'm seriously glad that they're going through this. So what can we do about this whole microtransaction loot box, all these types of things that are going on in the gaming industry? How about we completely stop supporting games with manipulative loot boxes? I know there's going to be those types of people, or the types of people that say it's just cosmetic. If we're just paying for cosmetic loot boxes, that's just going to entice other developers or other greedy developers to basically make their loot boxes all like revolve around game progression instead of just cosmetic items. Because people spent a shit ton of money on CSGO loot boxes and Overwatch loot boxes because they were just cosmetic for the time, that's what gave other developers to implement these things in the game that would at least unlock or at least lock all the great content about the game, or the new best cosmetic items, not for skill based play, but for the amount of money you pay to the developer just to get the loot box, to get the new cosmetic item. This was our fault. This is what the gaming industry gets for us paying shit tons of money for just for cosmetic items. And now that it's actually going into single player games now with Shadow of War, this seriously just needs to stop. The bottom line is that we need to make sure that we stop supporting developers that just want our money and nothing else. And we need to start supporting developers like Nintendo or CD Projekt Red or Square Enix, companies that actually just want our money but also want our trust and gratitude towards them. Nier Automata, Persona 5, Cuphead, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Wolfenstein 2, World of Warcraft. I can name so many games that do not have manipulative, scammy tactics for people to spend more money on microtransactions or loot boxes. These are just a few of one of the best games to come out in recent memory that don't have any manipulative tactics. And we should start supporting more developers that actually care about the consumer, that put the consumer first before the money. And I think that's what we should start doing as a gaming community. First off, I'm really sorry that I haven't posted as much content as I used to in the past. Hopefully 2018 will change that. But I hope you guys are having a very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy whatever the hell you're celebrating, dudes. I seriously hope that you guys are having a nice time, and I just thank you so much for anyone that has actually finished this video, went through the 12 minutes that I spent not 12 minutes I spent making the video, but 12 minutes that the video lasted. And I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys have a very blessed day. Happy holidays. I'm going to start posting more in 2018. I promise you that. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope to see you guys soon, and peace out.